Here's the story of how the greatest Spurs home shirt was crowned. Over the decades, Tottenham Hotspur have worn some truly iconic home shirts. From clean white classics, cup-winning shirts to modern masterpieces, all proudly displaying the cockerel on the chest. Everyone has their favourites, be this the first replica we bought or a joyous, iconic memory. But which shirt stands above all others? Could we find the ultimate Spurs home shirt? We turned it over to the fans. A knockout-style tournament. 40 shirts, being every home shirt since 1959. Pitted shirt against shirt, until the ultimate winner was left standing. This is the story of how thousands of Spurs fans voted to crown the Spurs nostalgia greatest Tottenham home shirt of all time. So here's how it worked. We started with 40 Spurs home shirts, spanning from 1959 through to the Europa League winning shirt of 2025. Before the group stage, we needed a preliminary round to get the shirts down to 32. Therefore, 16 shirts were drawn at random in 8 head-to-head polls. The winners of each head-to-head would join the 24 other shirts to form our final 32. From there, it was a full tournament, World Cup style, 8 groups of 4, with the top 2 from each group progressing to the knockout rounds. These consisted of a round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-final, and one final vote to decide our ultimate champion. There would be some clash of the titans, shock knockouts, and plenty of debate. The draw was made for the preliminary round. 8 shirts needed to be eliminated ahead of the group stage. 16 shirts drawn at random in 8 head-to-head contests. A mixture of vintage classics, cup final shirts, early sponsor shirts and modern gems. The winners of each contest would progress to the group stages, whilst for the 8 losing shirts it was an early exit from the tournament. The 1967-75 Clean Classic easily brushed aside 2022-23 shirt with over 80% of the vote. The 2011-12 shirts was even more convincing victor with 89% vote against the 2022-23. In the first shock, the 2008 League Cup winning shirt was eliminated. The 2005-06 shirt squeezed through in the battle of the mid-noughties. The 1993-95 shirt, Klinsmann and all, racked up nearly 90% of the vote in its match. You couldn't get more one-sided when the 1987-89 shirt received 100% of the vote. The 1995-97 pony shirt with Hewlett-Packard won a more even contest. And in the final preliminary tie, the 1999 League Cup winning shirt was victorious in a closer than expected result. So, we had our 8 winners advancing to the group stage. There seemed a pattern in the voting, which we wondered if it would continue. We probably knew for sure when one fan commented, "No chance am I ever voting for a shirt with a red sponsor." With 32 shirts left, we moved into the group stage and we had 8 groups of 4 shirts, all drawn at random with no seeding. Each group would be voted for by the fans, with the top 2 shirts in each group advancing to the last 16, with shirts in 3rd and 4th place in each group being eliminated. Would any red sponsor shirt survive? Group A saw the trophy-laden 1959-63 shirt and 1999 League Cup final shirt sail through with over 85% of the vote between them. Whilst the vote was spread more evenly in Group B, it still saw the very fresh in our minds 2025 Europa League winning shirt eliminated as the red sponsor distaste prevailed. The clean 1975-76 and 1995-97 shirts would top the vote. Group C saw the 1977-80 Admiral shirt and the 1993-95 Klinsmann shirt scoop over 95% of the vote. 1981 FA Cup winning shirt romped. Group D taking 82.9% of the vote on its own, with the 2015-16 shirt nicking second spot. The 1982-83 Centenary shirt ran away with Group E, with 2001-02 easily taking second place. Two cup final shirts took Group F with 97.5% of the vote. A tough choice in Group G as no red sponsors to discard. The more even vote reflected this. Group H saw the 1984 UEFA Cup shirt and 1991 FA Cup winning shirt ease through to the last 16. And that red sponsor hatred, very real. Of the 8 shirts with red sponsors, only 1 made it through the groups. And even then, only because that group had 3 red sponsors, so forced one of them to survive. One fan even joked, "Please let my favourite be drawn against 2015-16, it's basically a bye." We moved on to the last 16, where the feeling was the competition was really getting started. One fan quipped, "So, the prelims and group stage was to essentially eliminate the red sponsors, was it?" The fans had spoken in their votes, and if any club representatives are watching, take note with future shirts and sponsors. You'll probably sell more. Only one red sponsor had survived this far, and fans of the 1983-84 shirt were jumping with joy when their favourite drew it in the last 16. Is inevitable. Some intriguing ties, with the 1981 and 1991 FA Cup winning shirts drawn against each other, and Klinsmann's shirt up against the 99 League Cup winning shirt, with the remaining ties set to go either way. As expected, with many fan favourites fighting it out, the last 16 was brutal, sparking debate and complaints. The younger fans were getting blamed at one point for not understanding history. As expected, the 1983-84 Holston Classic easily beat the last remaining red sponsor, scooping 88.9% of the vote. The clean classic 1967-75 shirt, winner of multiple trophies, succeeded its match with 60% of the vote. To the surprise of some, the 1982-83 Centenary shirt knocked out a more vintage classic, taking 2 out of every 3 votes in its match. The Clash of the Titans tie, which pitted the 1981 and 1991 FA Cup winning shirts against each other, turned out not as close as expected, with the 1991 shirt taking 60% of the vote. One of the early favourites was out. One fan joked, "I need to lodge an official protest. The 81 shirt can't be out." The 1993-95 Klinsmann shirt continued its march, taking 69% of the vote to knock out the 1999 League Cup winning shirt. The 1977-80 Admiral shirt has no trouble at all, scooping 88.5% of the vote in the biggest win of the round. The 1985-87 Hummel chevron shirt won almost as comfortably, taking nigh on 77% of the vote. The final match was closer, but the early Bill Nick 1959-63 shirt won with 58% share of the vote. Things were only going to get tougher now, as only 8 shirts remained and the quarter-finals beckoned. Well, if we thought it was a tough battle in the last 16, things were about to ramp up a notch as we entered the quarter-finals. The last 8 shirts, so many memories for many fans. Each tie would pitch classic Spurs shirt against classic Spurs shirt. The most recent shirt remaining was still 30 years old, so the message was clear. The fans overwhelmingly preferred the old classics over the modern designs. We had shirts from the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s and 1990s. Anything since 1995 had long since been voted out. For the most part, the quarter-final votes would be close, with some fans making calls to action in the final hours of polling to get their shirts over the line. In a showdown between two legends, the 1967-75 shirt knocked out the 1991 FA Cup final shirt. The purists were happy with this result, as one fan put it, "Excellent, plain and simple white all the way." The 1977-80 Admiral design continued to win hearts, eliminating the 1982-83 Centenary shirt. In probably the surprise of the round, the 1983-84 UEFA Cup winning shirt edged past the 1959-63 design in a very tight vote. And the Hummel 1985-87 shirt, powered by bold chevrons and Glenn Hoddle memories, blew away the Klinsmann-era 1993-95 shirt that had looked strong. And just like that, we were down to the final four in the battle for the Spurs Nostalgia Ultimate Home Shirt Challenge. As the semi-finals beckoned, it was not just about design now. It's about emotion, memory, identity. The remaining four shirts would now battle it out for a place in the final. Two shirts were about to fall at the penultimate hurdle. Introducing the four semi-finalists. 1967 to 75 Spurs shirt, the clean classic. 1977 to 80 Spurs shirt, the Admiral years. 1983 to 84 Spurs shirt, Le Coq Sportif. 1985 to 87 Spurs shirt, the Hummel chevrons. The semi-final draw was made, and it pitted the two earliest shirts against each other and the two shirts from the 1980s against each other. One fan, aghast at the draw, said, "No, no, no! My two favourite shirts have been drawn against each other. How can I choose?" He took solace in that he was guaranteed one of his favourites in the final, though. The semi-final polls opened and votes poured in. Only 2 matches in the round, but more votes than any previous round. Fans didn't want their favourites missing out on the final. When the polls closed and the votes were counted, we had 2 contrasting results. In the first semi-final, we saw the 1977 to 80 Admiral shirt ease past the 1967 to 75 shirt with over 60% of the vote. In the second semi-final, just one vote, I repeat, just one vote separated the two shirts, with the 1985 to 87 Hummel chevron shirt edging it. And therefore, we had our Spurs Nostalgia Ultimate Home Shirt Challenge finalists. After 4 weeks of competition, with debate, banter and some swearing, having started with 40 shirts, we were now down to our final 2 shirts. Ahead of the final voting poll, the fan debate and comments started appearing. Superb. My 2 favourite shirts are in the final. Don't know how I'm going to choose. If you ask me which player do I instantly think of for each shirt, it would be Glenn Hoddle and Glenn Hoddle. How on earth have we ended up with these two? The 1981 Cup Final shirt should have won this hands down. 2 classics, but I'm siding with the Admiral. No sponsors is the way to go. It's got to be the Hummel chevrons for me. The first ever replica shirt I bought versus my favourite replica shirt. Going by the comments and votes to date, it seemed like it was going to be a close run thing. Both shirts had performed strongly in their respective votes through the competition, except in the semi-final when the 1985 to 87 shirt just scraped through. The 1977 to 80 shirt had had no such trouble, and maybe this made it slight favourite? Neither shirt in the final had seen any cup success, so no advantage there. It was pre-sponsor era versus the fans' favourite Holston sponsor. It was anybody's guess which way this would go. And so it came down to this. The 1977 to 80 Admiral shirt versus the 1985-87 Hummel chevron shirt. After 4 weeks of competition, debate and thousands of votes, we were down to the final 2. Finally, the fans have spoken and the votes have been counted. With 59.4% of the final vote, the Spurs Nostalgia Ultimate Home Shirt is the 1977-80 Admiral shirt. So we have our winner, bold navy shoulders, that iconic Admiral logo. No sponsor, just pure football heritage. This was the era of Hoddle and Ardiles, style and flair. And now, officially, well, sort of, the fans' choice as the greatest Spurs home shirt of all time. After the result was announced, some fans commented, "Deserved winner. More than happy that the Admiral won, even though it was hard to choose. Think I paid about £4 for this in the club shop in 1978. How times have changed." Brilliant competition, Spurs Nostalgia. Are you going to do one for away shirts? There'd be some absolute bangers. And not forgetting a familiar fan voice who just couldn't let it go. I still think the 81 Cup final shirt should have won it. Finally, we wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who voted, commented, debated and reminisced. Do you think we got it right? Or was your favourite robbed? Let us know in the comments, apart from Mr. 81 Cup final should have won it man. And yes, keep your eyes peeled. The Spurs Away Shirt Challenge Cup could be next. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on X at Spurs Nostalgia to get involved in the next vote. Until then, come on you Spurs!